Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey. Today I'm going to show you how this is joined. So this is the third video in the series. And so what we have here is that everything is going to come together. If you are using this tutorial only with just this type of octagon, then it doesn't matter which the order is. But I'm going to just take you to the other diagram that we used in 2014, just in case you decided to use that video for attaching things together. On page number 5, you're going to find this diagram and it's going to have a number of what the motif was. We only use motif number 1 throughout this whole series at this moment. So what's going to happen is that I'm just going to place it. You can see that there's 6 motifs wide, and then there is 7 going in the other direction, and then the squares are in the center of each of those. So what I'm going to show you today is when we go to put this together is that if you use the same color as the exterior, then it's going to get hidden in. But what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to change the color to something else so you can see exactly where the stitches go. And you just want to follow a path. So as you just join, you want to come through and then maybe down and around and just coming on through. And eventually you'll have spots like this where there will be just a little piece that you'll just have to finish off. Now, some people suggested that maybe we should do a join as you go. I don't disagree with that. The problem is that, and it's not really a problem, but when you present something like this in a county fair, it tends to get a lot of awards because judges know that the attaching that you did is actually very time consuming, and if you do it well, then it's obviously going to get you a blue ribbon or pretty much close to it. So let's begin to show you how to put this thing together. First step I want you to do is that I want you to create a small little slip knot on one side of a strand. So just cut a long enough strand that you can physically manage. If it's too long, then it becomes cumbersome, but just make it long enough that you are able to do a bit of a section. And when I say a bit, maybe just passing through and just, just maybe about 2 or 3 feet. So what I want to do is I want to put the other end onto a tapestry needle. Now we know in the larger motifs that there was 3 chains on the corner, and we also know that's true also for those squares. So what I'm going to do, and I would be using white if I wasn't on camera, and I'm going to go into the middle one, but I want to choose the back loop only. Don't go into both stitches because you want it to stay nice and flat. So back loop, middle one, and you're going to match it to the back loop of the one you're joining with. And what this does is when you're using the back loops, it makes this sink down into it, and you're just going to pull through. Now, right away, put it through the slip knot. This will lock it from being able to fall out. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And now the white that I showed you has this, but because it's white, you just don't see it. Okay. And you're going to pull it tight. Okay, it's going to look like that. So what I'm going to do for the next several stitches is that I'm going to cover this and get it into position underneath. So we know that the next stitch is still part of the corner. Okay, so back loop of the next stitch and the back loop of the next stitch of the same corner. And I'm going up underneath, putting this on top. And I'm just coming in. This is called, what is called as a whip stitch. And I'm just using my finger just to kind of hold it down. Okay. It takes a few stitches before that will really get stuck in. And then you're going to move to the next stitch that's available on the one side, and then the next stitch. And so this happens to be the double crochet. Again, leaving the straggler down on top. Once you're comfortable with the distance of that being covered, you can just not worry about it, just push it to the back side. And you want to make sure that this doesn't get tangled in any way. Okay, so it's nice and free. Okay, and so we then go to the next one. So if you weren't watching me, I would do another one, same way. So move to the next stitch, next stitch. Now, you can clearly see that I've been burying that in there, but if it was white, you would barely see it. But I want to pull this tight now, like that, and I want to toss the straggler to the back side, and I'll deal with it later. So I'm just going to now just carry on using the back loops only until I hit to the next corner. And at any time, you can just give it a good reef and pull on it. and this is what makes it hidden. And because it's you're using the back loops only, it causes it to sink between the motifs. So if you use both of the loops, it would be creating like a window seal kind of concept, but using the back loops, it's a lot more sexier, I guess you can say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep matching. If your stitch counts are off, you can always just move to the next stitch here and then just use the same one that you were just in if there's a differential. There shouldn't be, but if there was, you can do that pretty easily and nobody would ever notice, especially if you're using the same color. Okay, so I'll meet you on the first corner that I'm about to hit. I'm getting closer to the next corner. This was the last double crochet before I hit a corner. So I'm going to come into the first chain of the one, the next chain of the next. And then I'm going to come into the middle one and to the middle. But as I'm doing this, because the square is here, I'm also going to go into the middle of the back loop of that one as well. So all three are attached at the same time. So I have to choose my direction. Am I going to come this way down, or am I going to go across? I find it's easier to do this in horizontal format when it's in front of me, but you decide what works for you. Okay, so then I'm deciding I'm going to go this way, and I keep going. So every time I hit a corner, I have to decide which way I'm going to go. So I'm going to end up this slot that I'm going to have to do later. And I just continue to work on the back loops until it's put together. So as soon as this yarn strand is done, if you have to start a new one, then go ahead and do that, like a new strand, in order to continue. And you just want to make these long enough so it's not, if it's too long, I find it gets tangled everywhere and it starts to make a real mess. So don't be too generous with the length of the yarn. So I will see you at the next corner just to verify. And at any time you can pull on it to tighten things up. I'm about to hit another corner. So the first one is just, there's chaining of 3. So the first one is a chain 1 there. We're just going to go across. And then the next one is the middle one. And I'm going to grab this one in the middle. And I'm going to grab this one. And so all 3 then are attached at the same time. And then you have to decide which direction you're going to go in, and I'm just going to be consistent and just work my way across. So when I come back, I'm going to show you how I'm going to weave in the ends when I get to where I need to go. And if your strand is not long enough, you're going to also want to use the same concept for finishing off and restarting new yarn. And I will show you attaching just a little section like this together as well. So I'm approaching the final edge, and I'm going to have to finish this yarn off. Okay, so I'm in the chain 1 of 3, and then I'm going to finish on the middle chain of both sides, and then that's done. So I'm just going to pull up on it, and I'm going to turn it over to the back of your blanket. Okay, you see what it looks like? And I'm just going to carefully just create a little knot. Okay, don't let that needle go to the other side of the work. Just stay on the back. And if you're using the white, it pretty much is going to be hidden anyway. So we're going to just feed it through the loop just to lock it. And feeding it through like that just gives me reassurance, so it's kind of stuck. And so now I'm just going to continue to weave in back and forth a total of 3 times. Don't let that needle go to the other side, or I'm going to reach through the screen and take away your blue ribbon. Okay, these are the small little touches that the judges are looking for. Okay, and make sure when you pull on it, you don't change the shape of how things are coming together. So you're just going to weave back and forth a total of 3 times. So I'm going to do it one more time. And then I'm going to show you just joining when you're just filling in those little sections. it's done. So then you can safely cut down your yarn and be good to go. Now the very starting strand that we started with when we did this, we're going to go back to where we started, and we're just going to take to the back side only. You're going to do the same thing of weaving back and forth. It's already started with a slip knot that we pulled through, so we don't have to worry about that so much of it falling out because it's already knotted, and we're just going to weave this back and forth on the back side also 3 times. So this is why it's important that you have that same color when you're doing the joining, because it's just really ugly if you don't. And once you've woven it 3 times, you're good to go. So I will show you one more thing before we're leaving you to do the rest of it on your own. It's going to take you a while to do, but again, this thing wins ribbons, generally speaking. So let's do what happens if you just got a little section like this, because you can't go all the way around like that without having these little pieces that will be left over. So let's do one. So let's do a little section. You won't need as long as a strand, and you're going to create a slip knot like we did before. And the other side, you're going to put it onto the tapestry needle. Now, because this is white here, I'm going to go through the middle one. Okay, so the middle is actually right here. It's already attached. And I'm just going to push it through. And I'm going to push this through to the slip knot that I created. Okay, just go through it a few times. So you're just going to start your next on the chain in the corner, next one back loop only. Just make sure it goes up and over. And then just keep on going. So you're just going to do a few stitches trapping that beginning one into the whip stitch itself. And when you're comfortable, you can just push it to the back side and deal with it later. Okay, so I'm comfortable at this point, and I'm just going to carry on. So I'll see you when I come closer to the join on this side. I was going to pull this tight off camera, but at any time you can just pull it tight and it sinks it down even more. So continuing along, back loop to back loop. And you're going to want to finish on the third one there. Okay, so now because this is already joined here, I don't want to do anything on the front side, so I'm going to just pop this to the back, turn it over, make sure it's pulled tight, and I'm going to use the back side here just like I was. So I'm going to just tie a little quick knot. I don't want to go too deep, just enough to catch the stitches. And then just carefully just go back and forth 3 times. And I stay within the join when I do that. I don't go into the motif at all. Meaning this way. And then the starting strand that we had for this section, we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to weave it back and forth. So, but I do recommend that you turn it over and make sure it looks good before you do the final one. So let's just put it onto the hook. Let's get there. We already pushed it to the back side. I'm just going to take a quick look. So when I pull on this, I want the consistency of the look. Okay. And because if it's the same color, you won't see any major flaws. And just weave it back and forth on the back side, again 3 times. You're better off to also split the plies, just don't go in between strands. If you have issues with things falling out, that's the best way to go. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the rest for you for attaching. You just have to work through the process. Probably put it on a table, put on some TV, music, and if this was white, it would look just like that. And this is what it would look like if it was a different color, which I don't particularly like. I'll see you in the next video as we do our final stages for your blanket.